Res 8, I will inform the House that Ms. Custer will vote yea on House Resolution 24.
The gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Fleischman of Tennessee pursuant to Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Fleischman will vote nay on Res 24. As the member designated by Mr. Desjardins of Tennessee pursuant to Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Desjardins will vote nay on Res 24.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Bonnie Watson Coleman pursuant to Res 8, I inform the House that Ms. Watson Coleman will vote yes on Res 24. And as the member designated by Mr. Albio Series pursuant to Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Series will vote yes on Res 24. And finally, as the member designated by Mr. Paul Tonko pursuant to Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Tonko will vote yes on Res 24.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Kansas seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. LaTurner, Kansas, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Mr. LaTurner will vote nay on House Resolution 24.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Presley of Massachusetts pursuant to Res 8, I inform the House that Ms. Presley will vote yes on Res 24.
Does the gentleman from Connecticut seek recognition?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Adam Smith of Washington State, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Mr. Smith will vote yes on Res 24.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Had the best words. God bless the United States.
How the nation Waldorf Nation. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. It's Wednesday. Apparently, it's Impeachment Day 2.0. A few of you saw a little bit of that earlier before the start of the show. They are voting to impeach the president again. Again, this is a record. We got we're breaking records, folks. Donald Trump. Let me tell you what. Donald Trump is the best. He's the best president at getting impeached. Nobody can ever get impeached more than President Trump. Let me tell you what. The greatest, the most tremendously impeachable president we have ever seen. The history will go down. Donald Trump will go down in the history books for being impeached so many times, twice. Yeah. So that's happening. That's stuff. That's things. Okay, so that's what we're doing. All right. In Congress right now, but we've got stories. I actually start out with a rare correction. Ooh, I got it wrong. Oh no. Oh shit. By the way, I'm trying to cut down on my swearing, at least when it comes to the segments themselves. So thankfully that's not going to be put into a YouTube clip. But wow. Really trying to cut down on it because I'm getting demonetized here. So already demonetized. That's it. We're done with that. So, but the clips should be okay as long as I don't slip. So, ooh, that's gonna be hard. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be tough. But I think I can manage. We'll see what happens. But all right. So we start with the correction, and then we've got, of course, people. We got Republicans throwing each other under the bus. We get Republicans calling for unity. We got Republicans still blaming the other side somehow, for some reason. We've got Trump desperately trying to find a place to microblog. I know. What happened? There's that. We've got Mitch McConnell being attacked. We got Republicans. All throwing each other under the bus all day, and it's fantastic. And so some of that's related to, of course, the capital tax, some of it's related to impeachment, and then, of course, we're going to talk about Bernie Sanders, and the little-known senator, known as Bernie Sanders, who has a little-known, very, very not powerful position in the Senate. We're just going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to dive in to Bernie Sanders and something called the Budget Committee, like some chairmanship. We'll talk about it, I guess. One of those things. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure you can tell a little bit of sarcasm here. All right. So that said, let's do this correction. Let's get it out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I actually got something wrong. So I'm not the only one, of course. I know. They all say that. Well, yeah, I'm not the only one who messed up. No, seriously though. I'm here to issue a little bit of a correction on the story that I talked about earlier this week. And so this came in the wake of the Capitol riots. So there's a video that was going around. It was posted. I'm going to show you the video, by the way. It's posted by Ray Redacted on Twitter. And it basically was a video that was showing a man in an airport terminal that was complaining about getting kicked off a plane. So now, I talked about this in the context of, oh, he must be on a no-fly list, right? So that was the information that I had. He was on the no-fly list, and that's why I got kicked off the plane. So you know what? Before I get into more of the explanation, let me just show you the video to kind of refresh your memory. Take a look.
I love every single one of you, but this is what they do to us. They kick me off the plane, they call me a fucking terrorist, and they want to fucking ruin my life. Sir, please calm down.
All right, so that's still funny, and I'm going to explain why it's still funny. and why I think a lot of my commentary kind of still holds on this and how ridiculous it was. But first, let me just point out that the information that we had was inaccurate. So it turns out that it didn't have anything to do with the Capitol insurrection. Okay? It actually turns out is that the man in the video had been asked to get off the flight. This is a Charlotte to Denver flight for refusing to comply with the mask policy. This is according to airline spokesperson Curtis Blessing. Okay, so quote, on Friday, January 8th, the customer was asked to deplane Flight 1754 at Charlotte Douglas International Airport for refusing to comply with our mandatory face covering policy. The customer complied with the request to deplane, and the flight departed at 7:42 p.m. Eastern for Denver International Airport, Blessing said in an email. After the mask incident, Blessing said the man was put on American Airlines' own refusal list, essentially a no-fly list, specific to that one airline, pending further investigation. But there's no basis for the suggestion that he was ever on a government no-fly list, in which case it would have been highly unlikely that it would be able to board a plane at all, or prohibited from flying for any reason connected to the Capitol insurrection. The video was originally posted online on the social media app TikTok by Tania Dominguez, who told CNN that she was at the Charlotte airport waiting for a different flight. Her own caption said, "Homeboy had a full toddler-level meltdown because he was told to wear a mask." She later said in the TikTok comments thread attached to her video that she wasn't certain the incident was about masks, but her initial instinct proved correct. Ray Redacted then tweeted a correction and said, I was initially given incorrect information as of 3:50 p.m. on Tuesday. The correction tweet had only 20 retweets versus more than 107,000 retweets on the initial inaccurate tweet, which remained online. So one of you brought this to my attention, once again shattering my dreams. The same story with the person that allegedly, which turned out to be not true, tasing himself in the balls until he died. So you guys are trying to rob me of every single little shred of joy. Can I not have any sort of joy in these stories? Actually, I can, because as I just pointed out, this guy was kicked off for being an anti-masker, which actually is even better. That's even more sad when you think about it. Because this guy was asked to wear a mask. He's like, no, I'm gonna wear a mask. So like, okay, if you're not gonna wear a mask, get off the plane. He gets off the plane, and the other company's like, well, you're not gonna wear a mask, then we're not gonna allow you to get on any flight, to which he had a meltdown, which was fantastic to watch. It's even better saying that since he's not allowed on for not wearing a mask during coronavirus, during one of the worst parts of coronavirus, and still he had that reaction of, I can't believe they're treating me like a terrorist. I can't believe it. I love each and every one of you guys, but you're treating me so bad. Just maybe, had you worn your mask, you wouldn't have a problem. So again, even better. But here, we care about facts, obviously, so I wanted to put out that correction to make sure that, everybody knows that, hey, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you have bad captions, sometimes these moving situations move in a way that's unexpected. And sometimes your initial information that you get is wrong, and it is important to put out the correct information. So, of course, I apologize for the fake news, everybody. But now we have said everything right. This guy's still kind of a douchebag. It's still kind of a hilarious story. But hey, there it is. Those are the facts, because facts matter. Okay. Definitely mass public hazards, health hazards. Yes. Well, he couldn't wear it, since he's a delicate snowflake, hence the meltdown. Blind liberals with fake news. I love you guys. All right, joy restored. Joy restored. Let's move on here. Let's go to Republicans throwing Republicans under the bus, which is always fun. Republican and Republican crime. I hate wearing masks, but I don't like the evil stores to put a covering on my face so nobody knows who I am. I also, so let me also say that wearing masks sucks. All right, I think we can all agree that wearing a mask sucks. I don't like wearing a mask. I have problems with the beard, but you know what? I suck it up and I wear it. You know why? Because I'm an adult. But, we're adults, and we're supposed to be able to care enough about other people, care enough about each other, and as well as our own health, to be able to do the right thing and mask up. But yeah, I do hate masks. They are such a pain in the ass to wear. And look, my wife, bless her heart, she has a job now. She's a medical assistant. She's doing COVID testing. So she's like ground zero. Okay. She's like, oh, you want to complain about the mask? Huh? Oh yeah, just see what I wear. Okay. I got PPE from head to toe. I'm wearing face shields. I got the N95. She's like, and you want to complain about wearing a mask? I don't think so. Yeah. So I guess the lesson on that is it could be worse. It could be worse. All right. Anyway, moving on here. Let's go to the next story. One of the organizers for last week's Stop the Steal protest, which turned into, of course, into the Capitol riot, said he had a little bit of help planning the protest from members of Congress. So now this is a fun story, twists and turns, lots of people getting thrown under the bus here. And so let's start this out. This is a Washington Post reporting that right-wing activist Ali Alexander. This is funny. Okay. Ali Alexander said he and GOP lawmakers identified as Representative Andy Biggs, Representative Mo Brooks, and Paul Gosar, all Republicans, 2 from Arizona, 1 from Alabama, planned the protest as a means to put pressure on Congress to reject the certification of Biden's election win. So basically the whole purpose is to overturn the election based on conspiracy theories of voter fraud. So, well, here's what he said, the quote, "We four schemed up putting up maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting." Alexander said in a video that has since been deleted. "We hope to change the hearts and minds of Republicans who were in that body, hearing our loud roar from outside." Well, you certainly did that. You certainly made a fuss, a little bit of a ruckus, okay, when you stormed into the Capitol doing insurrection-y stuff. All right, insurrection-y stuff. So now remember, even though the Republican congressmen are like, well, we didn't mean for this riot to happen. We didn't mean for, no, insurrection, what are you talking about? It's a protest. First Amendment. And of course, both sides, agitators, blah, blah, blah. Antifa. We didn't want this to happen, okay? We didn't want this to happen. Please don't come after us, okay? Okay, please don't do that. Well, I'm going to call BS. Big BS. Because remember, the same congressmen were voting to not certify the election in order to help Donald Trump steal the election, which, of course, is sort of problematic when it comes to democracy. You know, I mean, not accepting the results of an election that you lost, that has been counted. There's been recounts, court cases, and no evidence of wide-scale voter fraud. No reason to not certify the results of this election. And so, yeah, you were part of that body that was trying to steal the election from somebody else while ironically saying, stop the steal. Okay. And so now, again, these congressmen work with this guy, work with Trump to put quote unquote maximum pressure on other Republicans to join in that theft, which admitted, involved storming the Capitol. So now get this, right? So Ali Alexander, they looked into him a little bit. They dug into his history, right? To some of the things that he said, some of the things that he's, posted before, and they find out that the guy, and also his criminal record. He's got a criminal record. Now, apparently Alexander, no stranger to theft. He had actually pleaded guilty more than a decade ago to property theft and credit card abuse. So the same person, and look, I'm not going to hold that against him, but it is important to note that he is a criminal who has stolen before. So again, it's sort of ironic that he's coming out and saying stop the steal now, but hey, people can change in 10 years, so all right, whatever. Now, he organized this, which was aimed at overturning Donald Trump's election loss, and announced the plan for the January 6th protest last month, and suggested the president's supporters try to disrupt the certification by storming the Capitol. That's what's really important about this. Now he's saying, because you're going to see him in a video coming up, where he's saying, well, everything's peaceful. I like peaceful protests. I didn't really want to storm the Capitol. But, I prefer peaceful protest. Well, again, we're going to call BS on that. Okay? So now here's what he said, quote, "Everyone can guess what me and 500,000 others will do to that building," Alexander tweeted in December. According to the Daily Beast, 1776 is always an option. Now, that's not bluster, okay? That's insurrection-y stuff, okay? So that's important. Sounds like insurrection to me, okay? And so these guys, these Republican congressmen, they were working with this guy to plan this whole thing. Now, of course, if you ask a congressman, they're like, oh, no, what are you talking about? No, I never worked with those guys. What are you talking about? In fact, the spokesman for Biggs insists the congressman had never been knowingly been in contact with Alexander, who is also known as Ali Akbar. I wonder if it's a trap. Oh, I couldn't resist that joke. Okay, that's really bad. And neither Brooks nor Gozar had responded to requests for comment. But as I'm going to show you, Alexander does have ties to these congressmen, as well as, of course, to the White House. For one, Alexander took part in a social media summit back in July at the White House. Gozar described him as a quote-unquote true patriot after they both spoke at a Stop the Steal rally in December 19th in Phoenix, Arizona, where Alexander led a crowd in a chant of 1776. Quote, "We will not go quietly. We'll shut down this country if we have to." Insurrection-y stuff. All right, more. Actually, there's a video of Gozar walking around that same rally where Alexander spoke. Take a look.
Sharpie games. How many of you went to vote and were told, no, don't use a pen, don't use a, no, use one of these Sharpies, okay? Meanwhile, if you read the actual ballots, it literally says, do not use a Sharpie, okay? And how did they get the Indian reservations, which just broke earlier yesterday? How did they get the Indian reservations?
All right, so that's Gozar. He's walking around and listening to the speaker. All right, and so, all right, there's that. And there's another tweet here, by the way. But first, before I get to that I want to show you from Gozar, let's go back to Alexander, who played a video message from Biggs calling him a, quote, friend and hero. In the recording, Biggs said he wished that he could have attended the event and vowed to challenge the certification of President-elect Joe Biden's electoral victory. When it comes to January 6th, I will be right down there, as well as the House. In the well of the House. My friend from Alabama, Representative Mo Brooks, Biggs said in the recording. A tweet from Alexander, including the message from Biggs, was retweeted by Donald Trump on December 26th. And again, I want to show you Gozar here in that tweet. Pay attention to who he tagged. Biden should concede. I want his concession on my desk tomorrow morning. Don't make me come over there. And he's got hashtag Stop the Steal, obviously. And look at the tag. At Ali. Huh. Now, of course, that Twitter account at Ali has been suspended. So, probably went along with the QAnon purge of these accounts that were pushing for insurrection. But yet, I went and I found that tweet today. It is still up on Paul Gozar's account. Holy crap. Still up. Didn't even bother to take it down. All right. Wow. So one more piece of the article here that we've got. Now, Alexander told the Post that he, quote, remained peaceful during this riot insurrection, disavowed it, but also the Washington Post noted that they had posted a video of himself, that he had posted a video of himself about 2 hours after the Capitol was breached, expressing support for the violence that was unfolding. In fact, here's that video. Take a look.
This is we the people. The growing frustrations of the government and what's happening now is exactly what I've warned about. I've said that we need to make fair elections and transparent counting so that the people do not feel like the last resort is public demonstrations like this. Now, I want to say something. I don't disavow this. I do not denounce this. This is completely peaceful, looks like so far. And there are a couple of agitators that I obviously don't endorse, but this is completely peaceful.
A couple of agitators. Just a couple. I mean, they're not ours. I mean, this is a couple of agitators that are probably Antifa. I mean, you're sure they're carrying Trump flags and they're, dressed up with like horns and fur, like the Q shaman, who was currently in jail right now. And, they're dressed in Trump flags and everything, but, the outside agitators. That's all they are. It's funny. Ali Alexander, you saw what he looks like, right? No, I'm not going in that direction. So calm down. It's going to be fine. I'm just saying that, that's the kind of person that Trump supporters don't want in their group. Their group filled with white supremacists and neo-Nazis and KKK members, those violent insurrectionists. What are you doing, Ali? What are you doing? Why? You're palling up with people that want you dead. Amazing. It's amazing. But no, it also wasn't peaceful. Again, this was 2 hours after they stormed into the building, broke windows. And by the way, there's a story that came out today where there's a representative, I believe it was Ayanna Pressley, her office, the panic buttons had been stripped out. I'm serious. Panic buttons stripped out. Inside job, perhaps. I mean, that's really the only thing that could explain that. But anyway, there's no way that this guy did not know what went down, which is why he's throwing everybody under the bus. I mean, that's really the only explanation that I could find. Okay? And so what we have here is a situation of Republican on Republican crime. And I always love Republican on Republican crime. But seriously, though, the politicians, Gosar, Brooks, Biggs, they need to be investigated. There needs to be an investigation into them, how much they knew, what their role was in this, and depending on the results of what happened, removed from office and possibly even charged for aiding and abetting this. Jamal Bowman had reported that his office had not had a panic button. I believe also it was Presley as well. Going after the black progressive lawmakers. It's amazing. In fact, let me do something live here. Let's go to hold. All right. We're just doing it live here. Anna Presley. Panic buttons. Torn out. That's right. She was talking to Boston Globe or something. Yeah. So Ayanna Presley's staff barricaded the doors. Every panic button in my office had been torn out. The whole unit. Damn. That's bleak. That is real bleak. So it's a miracle that people, did not get hurt in this. That, our Congress, imagine if they got their hands on Ayanna Pressley or hands on AOC or really anybody. I mean, hell, they chanted hang Mike Pence. So, I mean, and of course there's other reports where, these same writers were basically casing out the place and getting tours from Republicans the day before. So, I mean, this is really bad. And yet there are people out there, well, it's not a coup attempt. What are you talking about? It's not an insurrection. Coup attempts are much more planned out. Have you met Republicans? Not very smart. Not very good at planning. Just because it was a poorly executed coup attempt does not mean that it wasn't a coup attempt. All right. Hold on here. House members have impeached Trump. So let me go here and take a look at that real quick. So there you go. Yes, it looks like we have Donald Trump impeached by the House once again. Crazy. That's some shit. That is some shit. All right, anyway. Breaking. Yes, Donald Trump has been impeached by the House of Representatives. The Senate, though, is going to refuse to take it up. That was the story that I was talking about earlier. They will be refusing to take it up. Mitch McConnell does not want to do this immediately, right now. He wants to wait, and I've actually got a story on that later. So we're going to get to that. But first, let's go to both sides. That's like the best story here. All right. Representative Ken Buck isn't convinced that Trump supporters are to blame for the Capitol riots last week. Watch who he thinks is to blame.
This is we the people, the growing frustrations of the government and what's happening.
And to say that there's one speech or one incident that caused this group of people to storm the Capitol is just not accurate. What I'm trying to suggest to you is that both sides are at fault, and that in America, we need to be very careful.
All right, so both sides. Yeah, Ken Buck is both sidesing this one. Holy crap. Look, guys, I'm trying not to swear, okay? But this makes it really, really difficult for me to do, okay? But all right. So he's going to both sides this. No, but talking about it's both sides that are at fault here. And it's not just one thing. It's not just one speech. It's not just one incident. You're right about that, Ken. You know what led up to this? I don't know, for the last, I guess for the entirety of the election, for years, Donald Trump's been setting up this scenario. Saying, oh, we're going to have fake ballots. There's going to be so much voter fraud. Your head will spin. You got to fight against it. You got to fight for me. You got to be ready to go into the Capitol. You got to challenge the results. You got to fight for me. By the way, you're all lovely people. You're very special. You're very special. Special. I love you. I love you all. You should probably go home, but first fight for me. Look, that's Donald Trump. That's been happening for at least over a year. And so, yeah, it wasn't just one event. This has been building up like a slow boil that has been directed by the president, by Republican congressmen, like Ken Buck, and by right-wing media. And so, yeah, he's right about that one, wrong about everything else. This is not a both sides issue. There's no both sides to this, okay? These were all Trump supporters who were trying to steal an election that they believed, with no evidence, has been stolen from them. Okay, and again, this is the lie that has been repeated by right-wing media, the president, Republican politicians in Congress, bad faith actors like Project Veritas, and yes, there's even some people on the left that are talking about this, that are saying, oh, yeah, the results are a little bit questionable, from the general election. What evidence do you have? Again, if you're lefty and you think this has been stolen, you might want to get your head out of your ass. I know there's a lot of lefties that don't like the DNC. I count myself among them, or the Democratic Party. And a lot of lefties like myself have looked at some issues within the Democratic Party's nomination process, which is totally separate from the general election, by the way, because it is run by the inter-party, and therefore you can put, your thumb on the scale for certain candidates in order to influence that primary election. But seriously, get your head out of your ass. Don't buy into the propaganda, especially coming from a side that wants to see you dead, because that's the extreme right. That's the Proud Boys. That's all of them. Okay, they don't give a damn about election security. They don't give a damn about voter fraud. Okay, what they care about is power. They don't care about making elections better for the American people or more accessible. In fact, they're in favor of the opposite. They want to restrict voting. Hell, there are people that want to make a white ethno state where black people are not even citizens. They don't even exist here. So that's where some lefties are getting their talking points from. And it's insane. It's insane. But anyway, that said, the right wing, they're also blaming the Antifa, right? The anti-fascists. They're blaming the anti-fascists. Now, look, we've seen the videos from this, okay? There were conservative bloggers that were there. It was Baked Alaska, Nick Fuentes, literally there, filming themselves doing crime, okay? Lots of Trump flags, lots of people, wearing Trump hats, Make America Great Again hats, gear, chanting, Trump slogans and all that stuff. Come on. Antifa, you've got to be kidding me. No, none of them were left-wing at all. None of them. So get out of here with that both sides bull crap, because it's not going to fly, because it's not true. All right, so now that said, John Berman, CNN, unlike some MSNBC hosts, at least John Berman is going to push back on this and actually love it. It's really good.
In America, we need to be very careful of the words.
How did the other side? First of all, you keep saying sides here. I keep telling you, I'm not sure Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi are on any sides together. You keep saying both sides. What on earth did any other side do than the side that invaded the U.S. Capitol, where I believe you're sitting right now?
I'm actually standing in one of the House office buildings, but what did the other side do? What you're asking me what Democrats have done? 1 week ago, when the Capitol was overrun. I don't understand who is to blame for that other than the people who overran the Capitol and the people who may, and whether or not you agree they did or not, the people who spoke before and may have incited that mob to overrun the Capitol.
I love it. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to take that sound clip of whoa, and put that on the soundboard just because. I love it. All right, so thing is, Ken Buck has nowhere to go. Obviously, that's why he couldn't come up with a cogent answer, because there is no answer. The people that busted on the doors, smashed things, spread feces, and COVID, by the way. Lots of people with COVID, including that Baked Alaska guy. They chanted "Hang Mike Pence." They were all Trump supporters. These were not Antifa. These were not liberals. These were not outside agitators. These are your guys. Come take possession of them. And they were using social media, mostly Parler, but other social media as well, to coordinate with each other, which of course led to the social media purge, because it turns out that sowing insurrection, at least on Facebook, is a TOS violation. Who would have known? Who would have known? Now, here's the other thing that's just, I love it. There is how they're throwing each other under the bus with this thing. You got politicians that are throwing the Trump rioters under the bus. You got the organizers of the riot that are throwing the politicians under the bus and saying, oh, no, they worked with us. You got Donald Trump throwing everybody under the bus, except when he's not, which is weird. At what point does the bus run out of room? We're going to need a bigger bus. And again, I know Donald Trump is out there saying, I love you, you're special, don't do violence, and Biden's inauguration, don't do that. You're absolutely right about the things that you were doing it about, that the election has been stolen from you and you must fight, or else you will never have a country. But also, it's wrong, don't do it, I love you. Okay, all right, sure, gotcha. Now, it's so obvious, the split that has happened in the Republican Party. Donald Trump has taken over a pretty large section of the party, even though there's a devastating poll that just came out saying that Donald Trump's approval has actually dropped within the party. It went from 90% of Republicans to 72% of Republicans. Now, look, that's still almost 3/4 of Republican voters. They're like, yeah, I love Trump, approve of Trump. And now you have 40% of Republican voters that are like, yeah, Trump 2024. But still, you know, like it really shows you the split within the party and how this has become the party of Trump. All right. And it looks like a lot of them are going to keep trying to pass the blame away from Donald Trump as well as themselves. And really, I hope this trend in mainstream media that has emerged of, you know, establishment, you know, cable news pundits actually being tough on Republicans for once. Well, I hope they keep calling them out. Would be nice. One more point to mainstream media, though. We told you this was going to happen, that the president was never going to be presidential, ever. Now, some of you got it fairly quickly, I might add, and very strongly. Great. But there are others, examples of where they didn't get it. They were hiring Trump people on CNN, okay, in different places, and still giving these crackpots, these whack jobs, a platform to spew BS without pushing back on them. So now, one good example of like people that were absolutely ridiculous is when like Brian Williams came out and said, oh, this was the time. He's not the only one. This is when Donald Trump truly became president. Yeah, when he was launching missiles at Syria, that's when, according to Brian Williams, Donald Trump became presidential. Shut the F up. All right? No. So what I hope in the future is that after Trump, and this is the real test to see whether or not the media has actually learned anything from this entire debacle by not being strong enough on Trump at the outset, is to stop calling things 50-50 in the future. Okay? When it comes to Republicans. When they say crazy stuff, you're supposed to call them out and not say, Republicans say this, Democrats say that, and then you decide. No, I really hope that CNN sticks with facts first, you know? And because, I don't know, the other problem is that these people on cable news, they like intermix. You got people moving from Fox to CNN to Fox, all that stuff, trying to get other jobs. And no, enough with that. Fox is propaganda for the right wing, conservative propaganda. And so, but the reason, of course, that they were not tough on Fox News is because they wanted jobs at Fox News. And so this is a problem, okay? And so this is why they worried so much about what people on Fox News would say. So, and also worry about making Republicans mad. You got to remember what you're supposed to do, which is report facts. You've got to report facts. And look, I know they're trying now because it's easy. It's real easy to call a fascist, or a proto-fascist a fascist, right? It's not going to be so easy with the next Republican president or with Republicans now who have taken, the ones that have taken part in this attempted coup. And so the real test of the media, again, of corporate media, is to see whether or not they will actually continue to be tough on Republicans as well as corporate Democrats. Because don't misunderstand me. I also want Democrats to be asked tough questions. I want all of our politicians to be asked tough questions, whether it be AOC. Even though I have a predisposition to like her, I still want her to face tough questions, but fair questions. And Bernie Sanders, ask him tough questions, tough but fair. But also ask Republicans. Joe Biden, ask him tough questions. That's what we want out of the media. And the jury's out on whether or not they're going to do those last two things. Because, of course, we all know they're going to go hard after Bernie Sanders and AOC and progressives. They always do. But really, they need to be also doing the same thing when it comes to establishment Democrats and Republicans. Because what we need is a fair media. We need a media that is tough, that gives you the facts, that deals with facts, logic, and reason, and helps rebuild trust, for one, and prevent people from falling into the conspiracy holes that we have seen that make people end up allying with fascists. We'll see what happens. Okay. I agree, Jeff. We need to ask Republicans like Joe Biden tough questions. Trump is impeached. Trump's not removed, though. He's been impeached by the House again. Yes. He has not been removed. Remember, you still have to have a conviction by the Senate in order to get removed. So, and then, of course, the reason, you know what? I'll get into this. Okay. But let's move on. Fun stories. So Donald Trump is banned from Twitter. We know. That's kind of old news. He's banned. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. Why? Because it feels like it's a weight off my shoulders when you think about it. It's like, I'm never going to have to talk about a Trump tweet again. Glory be to the heavens, right? Now, I know some people might be saying, well, I can't believe that they would censor the president like that. That's censorship. How dare you censor the most powerful man in the country? Wait, the president could easily go and get in front of a camera whenever he wants. He's president of the United States. You haven't really silenced him. You just stop him from spreading like insurrection-y tweets on social media, but he can still go and do a press conference. So you haven't really cut him off. But anyway, so now that's despite the fact that he incited violent insurrection. And yet still Twitter did give him a short chance to try to not tweet that kind of stuff out. And yet he still did it anyway. Because of course, right? So right as it stands, no more Twitter, no more Facebook, or YouTube, or Instagram, or Snapchat, or Grindr, or World of Warcraft. I heard somewhere that they banned that too, which is interesting. And now, of course, no more Parler. Parler's gone as well. So now, where's the president to go when he wants to do a little microblogging on the can? Well, the other day I mentioned Gab. Yeah, Gab. Why doesn't the president just go on Gab? Well, that's a good question. Good question. So now I did also mention in that same video, oh, right, he doesn't want to go there because of the Nazis. They seem to have a little bit of a Nazi problem, a neo-Nazi, like wall-to-wall Nazis. And I'm not being hyperbolic about this, by the way. That whole site has been taken over by neo-Nazis. In fact, one of Gab's most famous users, really put them on the map, was Robert Gregory Bowers. That is the sole suspected shooter in the attack against a Pittsburgh synagogue back in October 27th of 2018. So that kind of put Gab on the map because he was an active, verified Gab account user. that had displayed a neo-Nazi, very proudly neo-Nazi code phrase. And so openly on the site, posting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and things like that, hatred against Jewish people. And so you could see how he acted on that. Now, Gab says, well, that's not our fault. We're here for free speech. So they don't have any moderation policies. So that's why, of course, it is a haven for some of the most insane, right-wing, hateful stuff on the internet. So why not go there, Donald Trump, and join the fun on Gab? Well, he almost did, actually. Turns out some of his staff tried to get the president. He's like, hey, did you know about Gab? I mean, if you want to go and microblog, there it is. I mean, so sad about Twitter, so sad about Parler. Let's go to Gab. To which Jared Kushner was like, no, don't do it. Don't go to Gab. It's filled with Nazis. CNN is reporting that Kushner had, quote, intervened when other officials tried restoring the president's social media presence on sites that are often havens for extremists, such as Gab, which is already heavily used by neo-Nazis and other assorted racists as a quote-unquote free speech alternative to Twitter. So now, if you're a black person, you sign up for Gab, let's see how much free speech you have. They're going to come for you. They're going to come for you, they're going to dox you, they're going to attack you. You know it. You don't have free speech there. But all right, anyway, Kushner and Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino had blocked efforts by other aides, including Personnel Chief Johnny McKenty, to get the president on fringe social media platforms after he was suspended in some fashion from almost every major one, including Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube. That is hilarious. Now, to be fair, I don't know if Donald Trump knows what Gab is, or the fact that it has been taken over by neo-Nazis. I can imagine, like, Donald Trump saying, what is this Gab? What is it like Twitter? Can I send tweets? What can I do? Can I tweet at 3 a.m. in the can? Will people hear me? Will I have a lot of followers? Well, I'm sure you would. But again, Kushner's like, no, don't do Gab. It's literally filled with Nazis. Please don't do that. So, no. I could also imagine Trump saying, what's wrong with Nazis? I do very good with Nazis. Some of my biggest fans are Nazis. They're incredible people. What are you talking about? But no. All that hypothetical, I don't know for that for sure. But Kushner literally saved the day on that one for the president, which is kind of funny because I think Donald Trump would have signed up for it, because for him, it's not really about where it is. It's about just having a megaphone and being able to speak to somebody and to tweet about conspiracy theories to somebody. And people on Gab might be a pretty receptive audience. Just saying. And so he probably would have liked it there. But wouldn't have helped his case very much. And that's why I think Kushner had to put the brakes on that one. Stomp that right in the bud. Or is it nip that in the bud? Whatever. So I guess there's Kushner doing something smart. Interesting. He's even banned from Pinterest. Oh, it's so good. All right. Breaking news and vote in the House. All right. So I know some of you are looking for me to look into that. The House has impeached Donald Trump. As far as I know, that's what happened. So I don't know what else, because I talked about that already. Yes, the majority of the House, the Democratic-controlled House, voted to impeach the president. It will now go to the Senate, which Mitch McConnell has not taken up yet. So there will, right now, not be a conviction going on. And so, we're not really anywhere yet on this. And this would be the second time the House has voted to impeach the president, so Trump's over here breaking records. 10 Republicans voted with Democrats. Good. Good. It sucks that it's only 10, though. Should have been more. Should have been bigger. All right. So let's go to the next story here that is impeachment related. All right. It appears that Fox host Brian Kilmeade is having some pretty tough words for Mitch McConnell when it comes to impeachment. Take a look.
So there's going to be Republicans who vote to impeach the president with just a handful of days left. And they're going to be on the Senate side if they ever get to a vote over there, because they're not going to do it before January 19th. And they're going to do it while the president's at Mar-a-Lago or wherever he decides to live, maybe Scotland. But you know that Mitt Romney's never been on board with the president. You know that Ben Sasse is almost never, unless he needs an endorsement, on with the president. Lisa Murkowski is so angry at the president that she might even switch parties. So don't expect that. But if Mitch McConnell does it, you never know how many people are going to fall in line, because you need 17 to actually impeach the president. But you can impeach him while he's on the beach or on the golf course. To me, it makes no sense. And what I'm saying is it further divides the country, not brings the country together. There are a lot of people disappointed in the election results that had nothing to do with storming the Capitol, never went to Washington, never believed that the election was a fraud, but is disappointed the president lost. How about to the tune of 75 million? Why not use this as an opportunity to define your party, Mitch McConnell, as well as unite your party, Mitch McConnell, rather than divide them?
Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm a bit of a child here. When I heard Kilmeade say, "You could impeach him on the beach," instantly my brain went to like, I will impeach him on a boat. I will impeach him with a goat. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, so let's get to substance. All right. So now, why would Mitch McConnell be open to impeachment? Now, right now, Mitch McConnell says, we're not going to take this up. The House just voted to impeach the president. 10 Republicans joined with the Democrats. So more or less party line vote with some Republicans crossing over. That's good. But like, the Senate's not going to take it up. The Senate doesn't plan on taking it up until after Biden's inauguration. So they kind of put the stop on that. But why would Mitch McConnell then still actually be open to impeachment even after Donald Trump leaves? Well, let me take a stab at this, because I think I got an explanation for you. The monies. It's all about the monies. Yesterday, I did a report where there are a lot of businesses that have promised to stop giving money to Republicans, mainly Republican Party candidates, following the Capitol insurrection. These are the ones that voted to not certify Biden's election. Okay, so there's some pretty big names here. You've got Coca-Cola, IBM, ExxonMobil, Goldman Sachs, American Express, Visa, Apple, Facebook, and the list goes on and on and on, and on, right? So now Mitch McConnell, anybody who knows Mitch McConnell knows that Mitch McConnell likes the monies. Mitch McConnell wants to keep getting the money, because the money wins elections, okay? Elections are what give Mitch McConnell his power. So it doesn't always work out like that. But generally, the more monies you tend to have, the more better chance you have to win your elections when it comes to the Senate. House is a little bit different. General elections are also a little bit different because of the free advertising. But generally, the more monies you have, the more chances you have of winning the elections because of the monies. So understand, you take away the monies, you take away Mitch McConnell's power, which is why, of course, I would like to get all the money out of politics. I think that's the best way. Publicly fund elections, take the private money, take the corporate money, take the union money, get it all out so that we can have publicly funded elections that are, responsive to the people, so that you don't have these big donors that are buying our politicians, which creates the problem of not being represented in government in the first place. So, and that also, by the way, disempowers both Republicans and corporate Democrats when you get rid of the monies. So, anyway, there's that. So now for Mitch McConnell, there is no way in hell, I should say, that he would give up his power for Donald Trump. With the people that have dropped, the companies that have dropped support for Republicans that support Donald Trump, he's like, no, it's unacceptable. That means we're going to dump Trump immediately. And look, the Republican establishment has already lost greatly under Donald Trump in this election. In the last 2 elections, actually, in the midterms, Republicans got wiped out, especially in the House of Representatives. And even in this past election, where Republicans made some gains in the House of Representatives, you still have Democratic control in the House. And of course, you have a 50-50 Senate with Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker. So generally, effectively, this gives control of the Senate over to the Democrats. So now, that is a big problem. That actually underscores the big problem with the Republican Party. They're the party of Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell, he cannot change course from that without losing the base that generally is in very much favor of Donald Trump. Over 72% of Republicans approve of Donald Trump, and over 40% of Republicans want to see him run in 2024. Now, Mitch McConnell doesn't want to, he doesn't want to split the party along these lines. But also, I don't think he wants to have Trump run in 2024 because of the fact that it's very likely that he could lose another election. And so that 2024 run is something that Trump's already said that he's interested in doing. And being impeached and removed, even after Biden assumes power, takes power, well, that would prevent Donald Trump from being able to run for public office ever again. And so now that would be good for Mitch McConnell because that would prevent his party from being wiped out by another divisive Trump run. Of course, that's assuming, it's a big assumption, that Donald Trump could win another Republican primary. But with the support that he has with the base, that is certainly possible. So now, the thing about Trump, too, is that, look, if Joe Biden was able to beat Donald Trump, and you know how excited we are about Joe Biden on this show, if Democrats had put someone actually exciting against Donald Trump, like Bernie Sanders, it would have been a complete blowout, would have been huge. Instead, yes, we still had a win, but it was a small win. It was tight in some places, in some of the key states, which allowed, of course, the president to challenge those votes. But for McConnell, understand that I don't envy his position, but again, nobody deserves to be in that position more than Mitch McConnell. And so now, I've got some news. I told you this already. Mitch McConnell has refused to do a quick session on impeachment before Biden takes office. So now, that means Donald Trump's going to serve out his final days. And it gives McConnell breathing room, more importantly, to try to make his party, I think, forget about Donald Trump, and then maybe taking up impeachment quietly a little bit later to disqualify Donald Trump from running in 2024. We don't know when that's going to happen, and of course, that's my conjecture. I'm not sure if that's the way it's going to go. We're going to have to see, but as you can see so far, he's not going to take up impeachment. And so it appears right now that McConnell's going to take the advice of one Brian Kilmeade and not split the party up, at least right now. So that's what's going on. All right. You know what? That's unfortunately all the time I have. Shit. I know, right? Let's see. I was going to get to the budget committee. I'm going to have to save that budget committee story for tomorrow. That's okay. He's already flat broke. Yes. Trump's more hardcore base is dying off very rapidly. Trump is being abandoned in many ways. Oh, it's so good. I love this. Oh, God, I love to see it. So before I go, I want to read some donos here. Stick around Twitch. I want to thank Granny Dragon for gifting a Tier 1 sub. Awesome. Thank you so much. Actually, no, 2 Tier 1 subs. Thank you so much, Granny Dragon. It's very, very kind of you. Of course, it goes to help keep the show going and growing here on Twitch. Also, thank you to the new followers. I have a dragon problem. An introspective penguin. Thank you for the follows. Much, much appreciated. If you want to follow us on Twitch, that helps out greatly. So, don't worry, we'll do that budget committee story tomorrow. But I got to get to editing. I've got to get everything done. We're gonna raid into. Who should we raid into? Who should I raid into? We've got. Let's see. The serfs. We got Central Committee. We've got Hassan. I don't know if you want to raid into Hassan. I don't think he needs it. With 79,000 people live, watching live right now. Holy crap. Serfs. So we got 2 for serfs and 1 for Central Committee. Hassan's crowd is too big. I've been in Hassan's chat room. Holy crap. You can't even, how do you even read the chat? You can't. You can't. All right, so 2 for Central Committee. Tiffany's not on. I don't think she's on. And if she's, I don't know if she's doing politics. So, okay. You can't follow serfs that came in the show. All right, so yeah, let's rate the serfs. They have a good show. So let's do that. And to everybody else, thank you. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. Helps us out greatly. And we will see you all tomorrow, later on. Love you guys. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you later.